Okay, so here we are in Desmos. We've got our data. You should have 5 or 6 points of data. I only took 3. I'm going to leave it up to you to take the rest, remember. So I've already entered my 3 data points into the table here. You should be adding a couple more data points below those. And you'll notice I've already added my labels. I believe that you have figured out how to add labels from looking at your graph. So I'm going to trust you to figure that one out again. And you'll notice as well that I have put time on the x-axis and I have put distances on the y-axis. And you'll notice that as my times go up, my distances go down. But you'll also notice over here on the graph, like I don't see any times and distance. I don't see any points. So we need to rescale the graph to get those points visible. So I'm going to click on graph settings, and I'm in the way a little bit, move myself down a little bit. Click on graph settings. Now, for my class, for physics, everything happens, very few things happen in the negative world. Most things happen with positive values. So my left number here, which is the left side of the graph, is almost always going to be 0. And I'm going to look at my x values. Well, in this case, it doesn't work all that well. Usually I'd say look a little bigger than your biggest x value, but I need to pick something a good chunk bigger than my x values, but not too big. So I'm going to choose 3. I just kind of have a feel for this. Trust me on that one. Choose 3. Now my y values, I'm also going to choose 0 because, we're going to go from a distance of 136 towards 0. We don't want to go past, we don't care what happens past the flag. So choose 0 for my left value. And then my right value, I'm going to look at my y's. I'm going to say, what's the biggest y I've got? Well, it's 136, and I can trust that I won't get any bigger because these numbers are going down. I suspect I won't get any bigger numbers down the road. So I want to choose something bigger than 136, and I'm going to just choose 136. I'm going to choose a nice round number like 150. And now, look at that. There are my data points hovering up here in the upper left corner of my graph. I'm going to close that. Now I want to get an equation that fits these data points, a line, and I want this line to go all the way down until it gets to the bottom of the screen. I want to be able to see that because that's going to help me make a prediction down the road. So I'm going to remember my line equation, y equals mx plus b. Type that in. It says add sliders. I'm going to add all the sliders, m and b. And if you want to change the color of your line, you can hold down the mouse button on, hold it down. And if you hold it down for a couple of seconds, it'll give you the chance to choose a color. I'm going to make it red so it stands out. And you can see my red line. It's way down at the bottom of the screen. Not very useful to me yet. I can move it up and down with my B slider. That's what B does. It moves the line up and down, but I can't get anywhere near my data points. I need to get this B slider to go a lot further. So what I do, I can't slide it off. What I do is I click on this number right next to it that I want to be bigger, and it lets me enter a new number. I'm going to put in 100, a nice big number. Hope that's enough. All right, slide. That wasn't enough. Maybe I'll make that 150. All right, slide. There we go. It'll slide right past my data point. So I want to kind of stop up here. You will notice I stopped right where that first data point is. You can fudge it around afterward. Now I want the line to tilt down, meet my data, but it won't go far enough down. Same problem. You can't go past this point. So I click on that number and I'll do a negative 150 again. Why not? Now, oh yeah, I can go way past where I needed to be. So here's what I want to do. I want to line this up with all my data so it hits as many as I can. And you can move the B a little bit. It's probably about the right place. Mine looks like right about there. Now you should have a couple more points past where I've got because I want you to get a little more data. And so your line may be a little bit more accurate than mine, but I think that's pretty good. It's hitting all my data points. I'm going to call that good. So now I want you to think about what this means. It means that when we started the video at time 0, that ball was 136 centimeters from the flag. And then as time went on, we're going across on the X, that's time going on, time getting bigger. These numbers are getting bigger down here. As time gets bigger, we're getting closer and closer. We're going down on the Y's, closer and closer to the flag. And what we want to do is see, where does this line reach the flag? Like, where does the distance become 0? Remember, Y is our distance. I'm going to move this up a little bit so that I can see exactly where the red line crosses 0. And when it crosses 0 here, we've got a distance of 0 and some positive time. So if I click there, I can actually get that point where that positive time happens. You'll notice Y is 0. Now Y is our distance. Distance is 0. Our time is 1.7215 seconds, about 1.7 seconds. It's going to take that ball to go from where it started to the flag at distance 0. That's what I believe my prediction is going to be. If you've got more data and your line is a little better than mine, your prediction may be a little better than mine. So we're going to take that intersection there, we're going to take that X value and we're going to go back to pivot and we're going to see how good a job we did. So make sure you note that and take it with you when you go back to pivot.